The oboe plays in a range which is very similar to that of a soprano voice, and it has a very haunting and dark sound, very evocative, and it's an emotional sounding instrument.
One of the obligations that we have as an orchestra that is one of my greatest pleasures as a conductor is fostering the growth of composers.
Caitlin was an oboist that I actually met in 2009 in Toronto. When I was asked to write a piece for the Manitoba Chamber Orchestra, I discovered that she was the principal oboist of that group.
He has written really beautiful pieces for the MCO, but I would say Prayer in a Green Cathedral has reached, for me, a new high.
Every time there is a world premiere of a piece played by wonderful musicians, it's a thrilling moment.
There are so many things going on at once, so many musical ideas, yet it all fits together in a whole that it never sounds busy, it never sounds overly complicated, and it's just this synthesis is this total sound world.
So I'm really thrilled to be writing a concerto for Caitlin. I think she's an incredible oboe performer. This collaboration has been a really, really fascinating journey in terms of just getting a sense of who Caitlin is as a person, as a performer, as an artist. And all of those discussions, all of those ideas have found their way into the creation of this new piece. It's a real privilege for me to work closely with a soloist before actually creating the work itself. That doesn't always happen. Fortunately, Caitlin and I had an opportunity to meet several times and actually discuss what kind of piece this might be. And during our conversations, I just got a sense of the kind of playing that she wanted to do, the kind of music that she enjoyed. All of these are so integral for me as a composer to know before writing a single note.
When the piece was commissioned, when we decided that we were going to be doing this, I met up with Kevin and we talked about my concept for what kind of piece I wanted. We talked about creating something that would be lyrical, thematic, emotional.
I got the sense from the words that she spoke, and perhaps even the words that she didn't speak, that this was a lyrical soloist who was interested in melody, interested in the development of melody, and interested in a piece that was beautiful and expressive.
It's very expansive, it's very joyful at times. It has this feeling of unfolding, of possibility, especially at the beginning. I mean, it's an incredibly emotional, beautiful piece.
It's difficult to describe the emotions that you experience in a piece of music. And I think that's part of why we love music, because in a way, it evokes something that we can't really express in words, and something that we don't experience in other contexts, when we're reading a book, when we're looking at a piece of art. But Prayer in a Green Cathedral is a very, very moving piece, and I can't say specifically it makes me feel this or that, but it is a piece that's extraordinarily beautiful.
Well, it all happens very quickly, and that's one thing that's very intense about the rehearsal process. I mean, I'll practice my part for maybe months, and then we'll have really one day to put it all together. So it requires a lot of focus and a lot of flexibility, but you know, that's what we're trained to do, And I mean, I know that I'll be open to any suggestions that Anne may have, and hopefully I've prepared in a way that allows me that flexibility to do some different things.
Anne is wonderful. She brings a sure hand to the orchestra. She's incredibly musical. This is really, really the last stage of the process, which is when the piece is rehearsed by the orchestra. And Anne becomes the conduit for all of the ideas that I've tried to put into this music. But she is kind of the physical beacon for the orchestra to follow, both from an ensemble point of view, which is to say, we need a conductor to stay together. Otherwise, there's nothing to kind of keep them together in one place. But then we also need, it's almost like a spiritual kind of guidance to have the emotion of the music and the expression of the music cohere.
That's one of the great joys of working with composers who are actually alive, is you can ask them questions. You can ask, is this tempo too fast? Does it feel too slow? How much time do you want this fermata to take?
Composers very often have ideas about balance, style, articulations. Hopefully our interpretation of it will be very close to what Kevin wants, and when we're influencing how other people play it, hopefully that will be a good thing in the sense that we'll be playing it with the ideas that came directly from Kevin. Right before I go on, there's often some, a little bit of anxiety. Maybe my heart will pound a little bit. The stage is my home. I'm a performer. And it's not that I don't have performance anxiety, but I think that we realize that it's a part of the process that has been part of us forever. We go on stage and we just think about the music and we begin to play and we're just enveloped by the music.
This is a piece about the beauty of nature and our place within it. And there is something for me that's very precious about that I've tried to communicate through this music. There is a darker aspect to this piece and something that suggests that the things that we hold really, really dear are very delicate and may not be there. And we have to kind of take care of them and enjoy them as much as we can.
Well, the entire piece is one favorite moment after another, but this middle section, I really feel like we're now in the center of the cathedral. It's so tranquil and at the same time expansive. It's incredibly emotional and yet still. It's where you feel like roof above you in the cathedral or the heavens above you in the Green Cathedral. You're just right there.
Every time a composer writes a piece of music, we want to connect to others. The basic hope is that there's something in this music that will form a bridge between my own imagination, my own attempt to grapple with something that I can't articulate with language, but to have that connection with other human beings.
Well, a successful performance is so much more than playing the right notes at the right time. It's about creating a meaningful, emotional experience for the audience and of having really expressed the composer's intentions.
I guess usually for me, it has to do with how we performed the piece, how the musicians performed the piece. Of course, it's wonderful if the audience also receives the piece in a warm fashion, which they did. Kevin had tears in his eyes when he came up, and I found that incredibly moving.